Hello and welcome back to episode 51 of my knitting podcast. Wow, what a morning. I've been trying to get ready for this for a long time and I've been procrastinating, I've been distracted and yeah. So it is now 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I think, on Monday. It's actually 3:30 now. Wow, it also took me half an hour to get my camera going. But yeah, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday the 10th of November and I am sitting here with quite a few finished objects because if you cast on a lot during the year, it makes finishing some projects really fast in a short time. But yeah, I haven't finished many projects during the year, so there we go. I've got quite a lot of finished objects here, and then I've also got a couple of whips that I'm gonna work on, and some plans as well. Not too much today for this episode because A, my camera will not survive very long. B, I've got a few things that I need to do. I still need to go to the shop very quickly, so I'm gonna try to do that before it gets completely dark. And also, I've just done a podcast 2 weeks ago and I feel like when I do 2 weeks intervals, I've got much less to talk about, which is probably good because I think the long videos are kind of a little bit out of fashion. So let's stick to a short and quick knitting podcast. So before I get into the knitting, just a quick reminder, I'm running my Free Your Needles KAL 2025 and that is just a very loose knit along that I'm running on my channel here on Instagram, and actually I still have to do the post on my Ravelry group. Apologies, it will be up when I release this episode. It is a KAL that runs from the 1st of November until 31st of December. You can join anytime, just grab an old whip that you started before the 1st of November and finish it during the year. Just get motivated, maybe tag me on some pictures so I can see what you're working on, and I will reshare some as well in my stories. And it is just a motivation to get your old whips off the needles. I quite like having empty needles for the new year, so I'm gonna try to do that. I've got quite a few whips now that are pretty much there, so it won't take me too long. And then I've got some blankets and stuff that I won't be able to finish, but at least I'm getting a little bit done because they were forgotten for a little while. Okay, let's start with the normal content. The first design that I want to talk about is the one that I'm wearing. So this is the Summerbreeze Jacket by Ann-Kathrin Stoll. This is a design that I test knitted for her quite a while ago. I think I finished about 1.5 months ago. And this one is made out of the Mayu Garn Puno Fino. It's a lovely soft yarn. So this one is a blown yarn, I believe, pretty sure. So it's got like a cotton core, it's like a cotton tube, and it's got some alpaca and merino as well. So it's 39% alpaca, 7% merino, and mainly 54% cotton. It's lovely and soft and actually also quite warm, but in a nice way. It's not like you get like a hot rush in it. And it wears fairly well. Of course, it's got a little bit of fluff, so it gets a bit of pilling, so you can see that maybe, but actually it's not too bad. It looks worse on a camera than it does in real life. And this one would also be super easy to shave off. You can just pull them off because like maybe you don't want to shave it too much because you want this little bit of a fluffy fiber sticking out. I love the design because it's like a very feminine, like a bit of playful design that you can like layer very easily over a dress or maybe like a nice top. So I've already worn this one out on days out when I went to Edinburgh or just when we go out for dinner or something. It's got these lovely 2 bows that you make with an I-cord, and then it's got a long slit here along the sleeve, and I used some vintage buttons that I got in a they were part of a selection of buttons that I got at a flea market. So it's a very good tip if you ever go to a flea market. Very often people have like their grandma's sewing box or something, and usually these buttons are so much better than anything you can find, because nowadays it's like I feel like you have to go to a really good button store. Otherwise, very often the buttons are just very plasticky, whereas this one is a mother of pearl, and luckily I had two that matched. I think they were not 100% matching, but very close, so nobody's gonna see that. You see, they're like, they look like they're supposed to live together, and that's what they do. And I love the little detail. I think they look very, very cute. And the design itself is just very comfy, like, as I said, super easy to wear. This one is the size 2, and I used 5mm needles, and the only modification that I did from the original design is that I went down a needle size for the folded hem. So I personally don't really like the look of a flaring out folded hem, so what I did is I knit the whole cardigan in 5mm, and then for the last rows, so the same amount of rows that you want to then fold over, I went down to 4mm needles, and then for the very last, so half of them, I went down to another 0.5mm, so that's 3.5mm. Does that make sense? Sorry, I don't want to give away the pattern, but basically let's pretend the hem is folded over 20 rows, so you're 10 rows in the front, 10 rows in the back. What I did is the first, I went down 1mm, and then for the second, for the fold that is behind, I went down another 0.5mm, and that's just to avoid the fabric to like bulge out, because if you fold fabric, it needs to go somewhere, and I just personally just don't like the look of like a flaring out hem, but that's just a personal choice. But other than that, I exactly stuck to the pattern. It is a very easy pattern and very quickly to knit, so if you're still looking for like a cute little cardigan for Christmas, I think this could look very nice as well in like maybe a bright red, or even in like I could see that in like a darker color with maybe glitter with it. I think that would look very cute. And I love this one a lot, and I got a lot of compliments. I think I will have to knit this at some point again, because my sister absolutely loves it. She refers to it as her cardigan, and she's asking me all the time why I'm wearing her cardigan. So yeah, I think I'll have to knit this one again. So this is my first finished object. Obviously it's one that I finished a while ago, so nothing I've been working on over the last couple of weeks, but I thought I would still show it to you because I think it's quite nice and festive, and maybe it is a project that you can still make for the holiday season. The next finished object is one that I showed you last week, and I'm very happy to report that I finally, it only took me about a year to finish my Calm Down cardigan number 3. So here it is. It is all blocked. Actually, I can actually put it on for you. So this is the third version I've knit. So I've knit 2 grey ones, exactly the same, because again, one of my sisters, she's a cheeky, she tells me like, oh, I love your cardigan, and then yeah, it was her birthday at some point, so she got that one as well. So I knit 2 grey ones out of the BC Garn Loch Lomond, and this one is the third version. It's one that I started together with a friend. I actually have to ask her if she's still knitting on hers. I believe she could be finished now. And this is exactly the same as I knit the last couple of times. The only difference is that I knit the sleeves ever so slightly longer. So on the cuffs here you do some decreases on the 1x1 rib, and it's spaced at a certain distance of, or like in a certain repeat, and I just added 1 row for every repeat. So I think I managed to sneak in another 3 or 4 rows, and I've also put in 4 rows before the cuff, so they're slightly longer, but here it is. I can see if I can show you. I love it a lot. I think it's super comfy. Obviously now I've got this one here. This one is nice and new and like still quite bouncy. I've got my other one here that I've knit before and I've worn so much. I've been living in the grey one. Honestly, I think people think I only wear this one. So this is the first one that I've knit, and I love this one so much. So I think I will love the brown one as well. I told you in my last episode I wasn't quite too sure about the color, because so this one is dyed on a white wool, and sometimes so the white is still like kind of like coming through. But actually I quite like it now. I've kind of like fallen in love with the yarn now that I've finished the sweater or the cardigan. And yeah, so I think this one is absolutely lovely. It's so cozy, and I know that I will get so much wear out of this one. I can see this one really nicely dressed up as well, like maybe with like a nice little top below and a skirt and some like long boots. That's kind of my winter style. I love that kind of look. Or you can also wear it like dress it down a little bit, just wear it with jeans and some boots for the winter time when you're like going for a cozy walk. This one again is like, this is a design by Lily Kate France. I'm a little bit biased. I love her designs and Lily's a friend of mine, but her fit of her designs is like, I mean, I don't think I've ever knit anything as well fitted as Lily's design. She's like a genius when it comes to that. This is a setting sleeve, so it just fits really, really well, so you don't have so much fabric down here when you put your arm down. It just fits the body so well. This one is size 2. I mostly knit Lily's designs in size 2. And if you are between sizes and thinking about knitting this one in particular, definitely size down, because it has a fair bit of positive ease. So yeah, size 2 is definitely right if you're like between sizes. If you're like between a 2 or 3, definitely go down a size. Again, I think I used 3.75mm needles, and I used pretty much exactly 7 skeins. I have knit this one before, and I think the last 2 times I've used a little bit over 7 skeins. But I will have to look it up again on my Ravelry, but I'm pretty sure it was slightly over. So this time I used a little bit less. I don't know, maybe the skeins were very generous. Always a possibility. That's one thing that I learned, especially last year. I bought one quantity of yarn, and I thought I had enough. I was just like between like having to buy 5 or 6, and I thought I'll go with 5 actually, because I wanted to make it slightly shorter anyways. And then I weighed the skeins at home. I don't really know why. I wanted to weigh them because I thought, oh, I'll probably have more anyways, and it actually turned out I had less. So definitely something to check. If you're like not too sure if you will have enough, just weigh your yarn, because you might have less than you're expecting. That said, I've got the same or similar situation now where I thought I had 4 skeins, but I actually have 4.4 skeins, so they have given a generous 10% extra on every skein, which is lovely. Whew, I need to take a breath. I'm a bit out of breath. I'm trying to get through stuff today. The next finished object is just a really small one. So last time I showed you the Charlie's Day set cardigan, and I had some leftover yarn. So I knit a classic ribbed hat by Purl Soho, again for my nephew. I made the kid size. So this is a free pattern. So if you want to have a look, this one is the one with 96 stitches, and it fit perfectly. So my nephew is quite tall, but not very big for his size. Like, he's very tall and long, and the kid size was perfect. So I made the baby version before, and it didn't fit for very long. So something maybe to consider. It is just worth doing the kit version immediately. And I used just the leftover yarn from my previous day set cardigan, which is the Yarn Art Crazy color. I still had a little bit of leftover, so then I wanted to make a full set, and I actually also made the baby socks. There's like a free pattern by tincanknits as well. They're called the Rye DK socks, and I made the toddler size. Again, I knit quite tight. I didn't want to gauge swatch either, so I just went like a size up and thought that would be fine. It was fine. The only thing though, you have to be very careful with this is if you make this one, make the cast on very loose. I thought my cast on was loose enough and it wasn't, and I had to then later on cut the cuff off and then knit it up again, which was a little bit of a nuisance, let's say it like that. So this is my full little set that I had for my nephew. I went to see him last week, and they all fit very, very well. I would love to show you a picture, but I am very much of a believer in keeping the picture of kids off the internet. So I won't show you a picture of him, but I'll show you a little picture of the set, and yeah. Believe me, he looks the absolute cutest. Oh, honestly, it's so cute. So these were all my finished objects. Let's head over into whips. And one whip that I have here that is pretty much almost a finished object, and will be a finished object, I think maybe tonight, or if not tomorrow. Because honestly, it doesn't need much. It just needs a couple of ties. Is the top sole by Mochiknits. I'm gonna just quickly pop it on. I've got a white vest on today. I was thinking of something this morning when I got ready. So this is the top sole, yeah, as I said. It's like a summer vest, and I'm not too sure yet how I'm gonna wear this because it's ever so slightly big on me, I feel, even though I went down a needle size and I think my gauge must have been pretty spot on, so I need to maybe double check that. This one is already blocked. All it needs is basically the 2 ties in the front. So it's just like a little vest, super cute. And the only modification that I made on this one is that I've added like an I-cut edge on the bottom. In the pattern, you're using an Icelandic bind off. First of all, I wasn't too sure if I just wanted like a plain edge. And then I thought I'm just gonna match there's like almost like an I-cut running along the edge. So I thought, oh, I'll just put an I-cut at the bottom. I don't know if it was the best idea, to be honest, but it is just an easy little vest. It is quite cute. One thing I don't like about this one is the raw edge in the back. I'm not too sure if I'm going to do something about it, but it does feel like it's rolling a little bit. I might try to basically iron this to death and see if I can get this to lie flat. Otherwise I might, I don't know, if I'll add another edging there. It doesn't really work because it's supposed to go like be a little bit down as well, so I'm not too sure yet. That's maybe the only thing I didn't quite like about this design. Very similar to like the armhole edges here. Around the edges you've got this lovely like garter edge which actually lies flat nicely, but just the bottom here is just, yeah, it's a little bit raw. But then on the other side, maybe you don't always need to finish everything like perfectly. This one is the Sandnes Garn Line. It is a yarn that I've used for the first time now. I've used the Drop Spell before, which is supposed to be exactly the same. I find the Drop Spell ever so slightly softer. This one is actually quite stiff now. I know it will be much softer with time and with wear, so I'm not too bothered about it, but just an observation really. So this one almost finished. Maybe I'll show you a picture next time. I'll take this one to Barcelona with me, so I'll try to wear this on one of those days, and then maybe I have a picture when we're in Barcelona. Oh, I've literally put my cardigan down and like scrumbled it up and like just took it off the blocking mat, so it was like looking lovely. I'm sure I've ruined that now. I'm all out of breath. Oh, I don't know if I told you before, But this morning I was a bit rushed, especially I was rushed just before starting to film this one. I was trying to do my nails. It's just something I like, having nice looking nails. So I've seen this, it's like a gadget or kind of like way of applying gel nails. I'm sure you've seen that before. It's like an advertisement. So I've tried this one for the first time. I bought it when I was in Germany now. And it says like, oh, it'll only take 20 minutes. Well, it does not. It took me much longer. So yeah, it's like one of those where you get like these gel strips and then you like glue them on, or you don't really glue them, but you like put them on your nails and then use a little lamp and to harden them off. So I've done that. I'm like very, very interested to see how this one is gonna wear, especially with knitting and also with gardening. I've been gardening a little bit over the last days and I had horrible looking nails, I'll be honest. So they needed a bit of care and I thought, oh, I'll just use that. So we'll see how that goes. They actually look quite fine now. Initially I was not too sure about it because they felt a little bit soft, but the lamp obviously has done the job. So we see how that goes. It's not perfect, you know, like I can see imperfections. So I'm quite a perfectionist in some areas, and my nails, like if I make my nails I want to have them looking nice. But yeah, I had gel nails for almost a year when I was living in Iceland, and it's just too much work. I don't have the time to go so regularly to a nail salon, and it's also not very good for the nails, to be honest. Like my nails looked horrible afterwards. So yeah, I'm gonna try to see how that goes, if that's any better. Otherwise I'll go back to my nail polish and do them every few days. Little mini rant in the middle of everything. And this is not an advertisement, by the way. I paid for it myself and I will let you know how it goes. But yeah, just something I've spent my time with today. The next work in progress is a work in progress I've actually just picked out of the basket again to show you, because I thought I'll show it to you now because I've never shown it on a podcast before it's hopefully finished next time. I'll take this one as one of my knitting projects for Barcelona just because it's such an easy knit. And one thing I've learned is, like, when you go on knitting trips with your friends, don't take complicated baby knits with colour work where you don't have enough yarn for the colour work. Like, we always spend so much time sitting and knitting with my friends, and then I always take like ridiculous projects. So I need to take something that doesn't need much thought, that I can just knit, and then I can get actually some progress done. So this one is another Tonight Top by Lily Kate. Again, a design that I've showed you before, I believe. I showed you, I think, a black version. I've knit a green version as well this summer, that I actually haven't worn that much and I still have to show you on this podcast. But anyway, so this one is a red version, and it's one of the yarns that I've lost during my move. So I had purchased 4 balls of this Lamana yarn, which was somewhere. Where's the ball gone? Just give me 1 second. There it is. So this is the Lamana Lima. It's a lovely yarn. It's 50% wool, 25% silk and 25% alpaca. It's so soft and like it just behaves very, very nicely. I love the stitch definition. And this one will be just a wardrobe staple. I can see that. I can see myself in it. I can feel it. It will be so lovely. All I need to do is just finish it now. So I had bought 4 balls of this one, and then I lost 2 balls in the move. So I had prepared like a big, huge vacuum bag with yarn, and so I had all my yarn in different kind of vacuum bags. And one of the big bags that was prepped for projects that I was working on, and even with a couple of whips, not like very important ones, but like it's a little bit annoying because it's a fair amount of yarn and value that has gone lost, but one of those bags disappeared. I've been searching this yarn for ages since we moved here. I've been going through our boxes and I've been looking everywhere, and I always thought like, oh, I'll find it eventually, you know, like you've got boxes that you really can't get to and stuff. I always thought like it will be hiding somewhere, and now that the house is kind of like almost there, obviously it's not there, but we have unpacked all our boxes, and we have seen all our boxes. There are still some that are not unpacked, but now I know that there's definitely this one big bag of yarn missing, and unfortunately some very nice yarns, which there's like some really nice yarn that I bought in Canada and in the US on trips and stuff, so very annoying. But one good thing is I found the same dye lot again. So there's this shop in Germany, it's called Mochiknits, which is great because they have an absolute fantastic selection of yarn, and they offer the service where you go on their website and you can even put in the dye lot, and then you can say, I want this yarn, but only if you have this dye lot. Or you can also say, I want this yarn even though you don't have the dye lot. But I've put in like, I want this yarn only if you have this dye lot. And they just sent it to me. I was like, this was like over, I think 1.5 years later. So I was absolutely chuffed that they had exactly the same 2 balls of this one, and then the same happened to a different color of the same yarn, and they still had the same dye lot. I was like, oh, great, because I hate the different dye lots. It's like, it's something that doesn't sit well with me. I don't like the lines. I don't like blending it in. I just don't like it. So another thing, I'm a perfectionist, and yeah, I don't like different kind of dye lots, and that's one of the reasons why I very rarely knit garments with hand-dyed yarn, because I don't like the lines. Sorry, unpopular knitting opinion. So yeah, this one doesn't need much more. It just needs a little bit of body, and then the double knitting around the edges and the neck. I can knit the double edges fairly quickly. If I remember, they sound worse than they are, so see if I can maybe still get a wear out of it in Barcelona. Maybe that's optimistic, but yeah, that would be great. Anyways, this one will hopefully be finished in the next episode, and this was definitely another project of my Free Needles KAL 2025. It's a KAL, but also a mal. Feel free to enter whatever you want to enter. There's nothing to enter really. It's not a, you can't win anything, sorry. I'm just giving you the motivation to get your whips out of the house. The next whip is one that I've cast on since my last episode, and I've told you about this little rule or like guideline that I'm using, very much inspired by my friend Naomi, who says if you finish 2, you're allowed to cast on 1, and it works really, really well. It just motivates me so much to get like things off the needles. So I finished the cardigan and the hat, and then I cast on the socks, and I finished the socks and this cardigan, and then I cast on this one. And I'm about to finish this one. And I have to finish one more to cast on something else. I think that's how I'm going at the moment. I might have forgotten a finished object. Anyways, I'm getting distracted now. So the next one I have got here, my next whip. I'm going to try to put it on actually. So this one is the Sadie top by Woozy by Céline. It's a project that I wanted to finish before Barcelona. And there's still hope, you know. I've still got hope. I've got some knitting to do this evening and tomorrow. And the day after. So today's Monday. Yeah, I could maybe still do it. If I get a wiggle on. A sleeve a day, I can do that. And the body is pretty much there, I think. It's supposed to be there. Let's try it on together. So first of all, here is the sweater. This one is size 2, and I'm glad I went for size 2 because I asked my friend Kelly from KAL. She made the extra small version during the test knit, and I was like ready to knit size medium, and I'm glad I didn't, because this one is actually quite big. I think my gauge might be slightly off. Ooh. It's a lot of fluff. This got a lot of fluff. So first try on, so I haven't seen it myself yet. There we go. Oh, I love that. It is quite big, but I like it. It's supposed to be like that. Again, this one I think can look really great with like a little skirt or some fitted jeans, or maybe like a, I think like with a black top and then like some fake leather leggings. I could see that. Anyways, can we just have a moment how nice that looks? Ooh, I love that. This is the Odeng by Farmer Daughter Fibers, which is a 74% suri and 26% silk. It is lovely. I think you can't see it on the video now, but what I've done is, because I could see that there were like a little bit of variation in the skein, so I did alternate the skein sort of like from here onwards. So I used the first skein to kind of knit until like just under the shoulders basically, and then I slowly blended in the second skein, and I think it worked quite well. I can see in real life you can definitely see a difference in dialogues, but because it is quite big and flowy, I don't think it matters that much. It just gives it a bit of depth if you want. There's fluff everywhere now. I'll just be sitting here like that. Oh god, I'm going crazy today. Yeah, so this is looking good. Today in the morning I did like 1 hour of dedicated knitting time. I came down, my partner had to work today, so I was home alone, and I basically came down, sat with the cat on the couch and put a timer on and said, you'll be knitting for 1 hour. And because the cat was sleeping so nicely, I actually made it 1.5 hours, but let's not tell anybody. So the body is pretty much there. The only thing I think is like my cast on is quite tight. And she did say like, oh, if your cast on is too tight, just cast on with a bigger size. I was tempted to do it. The only reason why I didn't is because I didn't want this to run down too deep, and actually I'm quite glad I didn't, because I think it would look weird on this design in particular, because it's already quite big, to have it like too wide. So yeah, I've got a bit of problem to get out of this one. I'm gonna try not to get makeup on the yarn. I probably failed miserably. I need to get these like try on papers that you get in some fancy shops, you know. I should really get this for my knitwear. No, I think we're good. We're good. I also didn't put much makeup on today because, you know, my skin, but actually I think it's okay now. I think I figured out what it is. I think it was my mascara. Today I've put on some different mascara for the first time in 2 weeks, and it seems to be working. I haven't gotten itchy skin yet. Yeah, so this one just needs a couple of sleeves and ever so slightly longer in the body, maybe another 2 centimeters or so. Here, I've put some markers on. I managed to do this much on the body in 1 hour, and then, yeah, about half of it again in 30 minutes. So this grows super, super quick. I think the sleeves will grow as well very quickly. I still have to think about if I want to make them exactly as in the pattern. I think they flare out a little bit like a bell shape, or if I want to make them straight. I'll have a look at the pictures again and then make a snap decision. But yeah, hopefully this will be a finished object for Barcelona so I can wear it. And there I dropped another stitch. I've got these transfer cables that work great. Like this one is actually quite a nice one, but sometimes they do come off the needles, which is annoying. But yeah, these are the silicone ones that you probably know, but I can definitely recommend them for your whips if you want to try them on. I thought I would use a lot of yarn for this one, but actually it doesn't eat any yarn. Like I've been fairly okay. This is like, these are my first 2 skeins, and I think I don't need much more of my 3rd one. Here you can maybe see the difference. So this one is much lighter than this one. It's a bit of a shame, but yeah, good that I saw that before casting or before knitting the whole body and then having lines. I think blending it in was the better idea with this one. So that was my next whip. And then I've got one more. I've got a lot of whips now. But yes, I started working on a lot of whips, so fair enough. I've got 2 of them will be finished within the next couple of days, I hope. So this one is the Olympia cardigan by Claudia Quintanilla. They had provided me with the yarn, and unfortunately this one was one that kind of like was put on the back burner. I don't quite know why. It was really stupid. It was once again one of those where I wanted to finish it but couldn't decide on the length of the body, and then kind of like left it. And then I didn't do anything with it. It just ended in a basket, and it's such a lovely design, so I can't wait to finish this one for the holiday season now. I've bought some lovely ribbon that I'm going to show you next time. Don't quite know where I left it. But this is, yeah, as I said, the Olympia. It's a raglan sweater. Very like, it's just like a standard raglan sweater with great details. And the most great, like the best of the details, I think, is that it's got this double folded hem or neckband, and what you do is you insert a ribbon and then you close it in the back, and it's got like this long keyhole in the back. And I bought some really lovely ribbon from Edinburgh Fabrics, and I can't wait to show you this one. This definitely needs a wet block. It looks a bit scrumbled up, but yeah, 2 sleeves and it's done. I had hoped I would finish this for Barcelona, but it's unrealistic. I won't be able to finish them. I might take it because sleeve knitting is actually quite a good easy knitting. So this is potentially another good one to take with. And yeah, I even got the yarn still in here on my needle, because I've done an Italian bind off. It wasn't called for in the pattern, but I did it anyways, and I'm glad I did, because I think the finish is quite nice. Especially because the neckband is folded. I kind of like the round look of the hem then as well. So it's a bit of a pain to do it with mohair held double, but I think worth it. And that's of somebody who used to say I don't do Italian binds off, like, unless I really have to, unless they call for in the pattern. I quite like doing them now. And I think if you do them more often, you actually get much quicker as well. Yeah, these are my knitted whips. And then I've got one more that I've been working on. I'm just going to show you very quickly, because it's one of those that I've been working on when I didn't quite know if I had to make like a decision or something, and I couldn't make the decision that moment then. I just decided, okay, I'm just gonna have something on my lap that I can easily pick up again, and that is my Granny Stripes blanket. It is absolutely massive. I think last time I measured it, I think it's over 2 meters. It's supposed to be absolutely humongous for our bed. So we've got a big bed, and I quite like the idea of maybe putting that there, or it's gonna live on the couch as well. Also a good idea. What I do is I've got like a big box. Actually, I'm going to show you. Oops. Also, I'm smashing up this place. I had like a big bag actually with different kind of yarn, but just before I went through my stash again and just picked out some other leftovers, I put it in a plastic box so I can easily see them. And then I'm just gonna pick out whichever I want to put on next. There's no rule to it, really. The only rule that I have is that I don't do 3 rows. So I I crochet it as long as I can fit 2 rows maximum, but I also sometimes just have like 1 row or just like a little part of 1 row. But I didn't want to have like a block longer than 2 rows. And yeah, I'm using all fingering weight yarn held single with a 3.5mm hook. If you want to have a look on my Ravelry page, I have told you how many stitches I started with. The pattern is free, so nothing. I'm not giving away anything. It's very, very easy. It's just very labor intensive, but I'm kind of seeing this as like a heirloom. It's just like a lot of old projects that I've used the yarn of, like the little bits and bobs. Like honestly, this box is just like a little bit. I'm sure I could find more. There's some bigger skeins as well, but yeah, for example, this one is like a leftover. I made a wedding shawl for my cousin out of this one. I made some socks, I believe, out of this one. There's some really nice little memories, and like I remember exactly what I made. Like this one, I made some socks for my brother for. There's some Christmas yarn here, self-striping Christmas yarn. Honestly, there's just like bits and bobs, and I just gonna, next time I want to, actually I need to pick up yarn now. All I do is like I have a little bit a look of at the repeat. Now I've been using a lot of blues and purples, so I probably go back to maybe a neutral or a yellow just to brighten it up a bit so it's not all in one place. Yeah, and actually I started this one with a self-made advent calendar that we made between like some podcaster friends, and I got the advent calendar from knitting, so a lot of the first yarns were out of their yarn leftovers. And it was actually quite nice because they had obviously like yarns that I wouldn't get here, or colors that would maybe, like they had a lot of purples, which I usually don't really go for, but actually I think it looks quite nice to have like a whole mix of colors. So this will look fantastic once it's done, but obviously it's not anywhere close to being finished. This is maybe what, not even maybe 40 centimeters or so. It needs to be at least 2 meters. So yeah, not even, yeah, not anywhere close to being finished. Yeah, so these are all my whips, quite a lot of whips. But as I said, I will finish a lot of them over the next few weeks. And I've got a couple of plans as well. I've got 2 very realistic plans and then one like as a backup plan. Because obviously going to Barcelona on Thursday. So I'll probably publish this video on Thursday or Friday. So you will see it when I'm already there. But I wanted to take some easy projects, and I went through my stash, and so I need to knit one project because it's a gift, and then I also want to knit one other project because I've got yarn for it. Now I've lost the swatch, so I thought I lost the swatch, but no, I found it. I was just sitting on it. I bought some yarn for my boyfriend actually last year. And it's a bit cheeky. I know it's cheeky of me because last year I gave him the yarn. I think it was for his birthday, saying like, here's the yarn, I'll give you the sweater. And then I never knit the sweater, and I think he forgot about it. So this year he's gonna get a sweater. Actually last year I got him the yarn and saying like, you've got the option, you can knit it yourself, because he was knitting, he was like very much into knitting his emotional support chickens that time. And we've got 2 emotional support chickens in our living room. And then he was knitting them, like he knit another one, I think. It's almost finished for my mom. And then he was knitting, he offered all our friends these chickens. So I thought like, maybe I'm just going to give him yarn and maybe he wants to knit his first sweater, but he's not much into it. Like, he just liked the emotional support chicken, I don't know why. He chose this one like Who chooses a pattern with short rows for his first pattern, but yeah. Anyway, so a bit cheeky. I'll see if I get away with it. Or if I have to knit another sweater during the year. But I've got the yarn here, so I have to knit it. And sorry, I'm all over the show now. It's always the same. I start very organized and then at the end I'm like all over the show. Anyways, so this one is the Dave Sweater. Dave Sweater Man. It's a Sandnes Garn pattern. And unfortunately, Sandnes Garn patterns I think you can only buy now if you buy the quantity of yarn. I saw this one and I know that my boyfriend will love this design, so I saw that actually, and I think I even asked him like if he liked the design, and he said yes. So I've got some sweaters upstairs that I need to measure, and then I've done the swatch now, so I've done swatch with 2 different kind of needles. I'll have a quick look later on to see which one works. So I've done a swatch with 4.5 and 5mm needles, and this one is the Sandnes Garn Poppy. Again, it's one, I think it's a blown, yeah, it's got this blown yarn as well with a cotton core. So this one is 55% superfine alpaca, 35% cotton, and 15% merino wool. And it's got 110 meters over 50 grams. So it's nice and fluffy, and I think this will work fairly quickly. My partner is not like super tall. This won't take me very long, I think. So the plan is to knit this one for Christmas season. I'm not too sure yet if he's gonna get it for Christmas or for his birthday. I need to go through the presents, but yeah, this is very lovely. It's like a natural color, natural beige, actually more leaning gray than I thought it would. Now that it's knit up, it didn't look that grey in the ball, but it looks more grey in the skein. He will like it. He will have to like it. That's the first plan. And then I've got one more plan. I went for my stash and I found this lovely Life in the Long Grass Highland DK in the colour Sunkissed that I got years ago. A couple of years ago at least. And I bought this one to make a shawl, and now I have fallen out with the love of making a shawl. I don't know why. It's just not something that I want to wear now. I think nowadays I would make a shawl out of a bit more like softer, lighter yarn, maybe like a blown yarn, or like a scarf out of this blown yarn. So I thought this would be lovely in a cardigan. So I went through Ravelry today and I think I can just about make the Field Day cardigan by Ozetta. I'll insert a picture. I'll have to do proper yarn checking. So this one I've got, as I said before, this is the one where I have 400 grams, and I thought that would put me short because I've got 900 meters, but actually I've got 440 grams, so I've got a bit more. So I'm just about have exactly the amount that you need for a size small. So I've got 10% extra, which is absolutely great. This is sometimes so fantastic when you go for hand-dyed yarn because the skeins usually are a bit more generous. So this one is a 100% untreated Highland DK wool, and it's a mixture of cordial and merino. It's quite a bit rustic, I would say, and it says it makes a durable woolly fabric. I can see that it's a bit rustic, but actually not like unpleasant. And one more thing it says ethically sourced yarn, colors inspired by nature, hand dyed in our studio in rural Ireland. So that makes me think, should I alternate the skeins? Probably. Not the biggest fan of doing that. I quite like just having one skein on a project, unless it's color work and I don't have the option. But I might do that. So the Field Day cardigan by Ozetta is just like a very non-adventurous cardigan, I would say. It has so many projects on Ravelry, so I believe this must be a good design. It's not too dissimilar from this one, I would think, but it has 4 buttons and is a little bit less it has a little bit less positive ease. So I'll see. I'll knit this one and let you know. So this is the idea, to make this one as well as a travel project. So I've got quite a lot of travel projects now going here. I've got my Olympia sweater, which just needs 2 sleeves. I've got my tonight top, which just needs a bit of body and the armhole edgings. And then I've got the field day cardigan to work on. And there was one more, right? I think there was one more. We'll see. I think there was, yeah. And I have to finish the bows for the sole top. But yeah, lots to work on, and I better get on with it. It is now probably, well, it's dark outside now. It's 4:30. I need to get a wiggle on. I need to go to the shop, and I need to get the cat in. We're currently, that's probably the only life I've had, because like life is so boring at the moment, which I love. I love a boring life. I've just been to Germany for a week, which is absolutely fantastic. I love going there when I go and spend time with my family and my little nephew. Now that we have like a new baby in the family, it's like, yeah, it is fantastic. So that's probably the only time when I don't love a boring life. I love going back to Germany. But at the moment it's very nice and boring here in our house. There's not much going on. We don't have big projects. We're still waiting for some renovations to be done that we can't do, and yeah, you know the problem with tradesmen. Sometimes they come and then sometimes they don't. So hopefully this will be finished soon, and then we can start doing our work again. But for the moment I'm quite liking the break. I like just having to do the everyday stuff. That's more than enough, don't get me wrong, there's plenty to do. And yeah, the only thing that we're doing at the moment, as I said, is we're training the cat to use the cat flap to give us a bit more independence, because having to be here for her is like kind of not what we had in mind. We really thought, oh, we're gonna get a cat, and because we live so rurally, we can like just let her out and roam free and she can come in and out. So we've put a cat flap there, but unfortunately she's not liking the idea to go free. So see if I can find her and push her through the cat flap, because I don't know, like I've been looking at videos on how to train cats and they always say use treats, use toys. Our cat doesn't like toys. She hates toys. Like if you come with like a stick with a feather on, she's gonna run away. And treats, yeah, she'll like I think what they call licky licks, like these little tubes, but you have to be close by to get her to eat it, and then she's not gonna eat it if she thinks you're gonna chase her with it. So yeah, treats and toys don't work, so we have to just do it through repetition and get her to use it. So I'm gonna be catching a cat now, and then I'm gonna go to the shops, and then I'm gonna probably edit this video, which is fun, so you can watch it over the next weekend whilst I'll be in Barcelona having a great time with my knitting friends, which I'm so excited about. So next video will be most probably a Barcelona vlog. I'm not gonna bore you too much with it, because like I personally don't like the really standard knit festival videos. So I'm gonna try to make something fun of it and maybe show a little bit more of our trip in Barcelona, and then maybe do a little bit of a roundup at the end. But yeah, we see how that goes. I've got big plans, but I'm just very excited to have a weekend away with my friends and just spend some time with them, chilling out, knitting, having fun, going out in the evening, have some drinks, and yeah, just enjoy our weekend away. So that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching if you made it so far, and then I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!